damn it!
Oh, I can't believe it! You're not working on our new and improved fabric softener!
You know, you really need to start thinking big.
What? That's exactly what you said about your shampoo brightener!
Now look, that one tested just fine on the Fuzzles. It burned holes in our customers' heads! No progress without risks.
Risks? Risks? That's the last damn gambit there is! Its lungs are worth a fortune, and you're sticking sonar in its head!
But do you stop to think why I'm sticking sonar in its head?
Sonar?
Think of all those long nights, us pulling critters out of cages.
And finding them takes ages! What's that got to do
Will
with...
you just shut up? Look, you and I spend, what, 20 hours each week catching critters? That's 20 hours a week we could be researching more addictive nicotines, sweeteners, baby food additives, sedatives, laxatives. Look, we have traps everywhere, right? And when critters get snagged, the traps send out a sonar beacon, right? Then we have to drop whatever we're doing and go out, pick them up, bring them back. But now, with my sonar-enhanced gambit, it finds the traps, it brings the critters to us. More critters, more research, more moolah. It's flawless.
Humphrey, I apologize. You are a genius! Oh my, I completely forgot. I left a fuzzle on the burner.
That's disgusting. And they make such a mess.
Huh? We got to get out of here. Get 'em.
Welcome back everyone to Let's Play Oddworld Munch's Oddysee. Today, we'll be playing as Munch, our title character. Pretty pathetic looking guy. Short, one leg, really bad case of underbite. Perfect test subject, really.
Munch, get out of here! Save the rest of those puzzles and find your way out of Viker's labs!
Our objective is simple. All we want to do is get out and be free. And meet up with Abe on our way. Somehow Munch just knows that. Munch is a gabbit. Gabbits are amphibious creatures. You've seen a bunch of them in the intro. They like to travel in large groups. They don't have many natural predators. The only one I could really think of off the top of my head is a C-Rex, which we'll go into later. Unfortunately, they have very tasty eggs, and their lungs, for some reason their lungs, are very good for transplants. If you paid attention to the cutscene, you noticed that the Vikers, the purple mad scientist suits, mentioned how expensive Munch's lungs are. There's a pretty good reason for that. Munch himself has a little sonar in his head, and it can be used to detect cages where these little fuzzy guys called Fuzzles can be saved. You just open them and zap them open. Fuzzles only listen to Munch for some reason. They can communicate with him pretty well, and they have a pretty simplistic design. Gameplay-wise, I'm not too fond of them. When you have a bunch of them at once, they can get stuck in room geometry because they're so tiny, and I don't know, their hitbox with their surroundings is really weird. So you'd see me spanning the camera around them a lot. But when they can fight, as you saw, they're really vicious little things. By themselves, they're pretty weak and useless, but when they have a large group like this, they can ruin someone's day. We're actually gonna show off an example of how they can be used for fighting with Munch. It's pretty much the same as with Abe and the native dragons. There's an intern here, the little like co-worker guy of the Vikers, and the Fuzzles, all of them gang up on him and he goes down easy. Interns are like, they're pretty much forced to work for the Vikers, and they're not really fond of them. They actually have their mouths stitched shut upon birth, so the Vikers do not hear them complain. They're pretty depressed most of the time, so they usually don't pay attention to their surroundings and drown out whatever they can hear with very loud, pretentious rock music. You can actually see the headphones on their head. It's really nice. I kind of feel bad for them, but they're kind of jerks, so I don't. Anyway, that's all the Fuzzles for this area here. I think this is actually the most we'll ever have Fuzzles at once. It's just an intro to all of them and how you have to arrange them, keep looking around them, making sure you're all following me. Notice we opened the door here and it leads us to a bird portal. The return of the bird portal from the first two Oddworld games. These are used to save your friends. Basically, you stand in its general area and you press the A button, and before you know it, all of them will jump in. Just like that. And we get spoofs for it too, for some reason. 2 spoofs for every person or creature saved, and with 18 Fuzzles rescued, we got 36 spoofs. You can look at how much Fuzzles and security are in the level, see if any died or any are still alive. And unlock the spruce lock.
Hey, Munch, you get good karma for rescuing Fuzzles. Save as many of those little fuzzy fellas as you can. The more you leave behind, the worse your karma gets. And trust me, you don't want bad karma.
Karma system. Very important, but I'm not going to go into it now. Right now, I'm going to show you off how Munch fights for himself using the Zap Vendo. The sonar in his head, you know, you see it can generate like some sort of electricity, and we can use that for our fighting advantage. We'll use this intern as a test subject. Pretty much, you can just zap him to holy hell, and eventually he'll die. Munch by himself can take up to 3 enemies at once, in my experience. Any more than that, and he'll just be outnumbered and eventually die. That intern was pretty easy because we got him stuck in level geometry. Usually, they'll have to like flop over doing this little animation, and you can only zap them once every 5 seconds or so, but we got a bit lucky there. I try to get them stuck in geometry as much as I can, just because it's so useful. Still just 1 intern here, and now that we have Fuzzles fighting with us, it'll be quite quicker. You may notice that it's a bit dark. There's no way to up the gamma of the game. I've taken a quick look at the options and didn't really find any like section to do so, so it really is this dark in the game. So just try to adapt to it and use the violent sapping lights as your guide. You may notice some sort of similar progression here from 1 intern to 2 interns, and there's going to be a whole nother like area just like this just coming up ahead, except it's going to be 4 interns at once. This is why I leave my Fuzzles here. Fuzzles, while they can be good for fighting, that group over there isn't good for 4 interns, so I do a quick save just to be safe. It's kind of like a save state, except, you know, Oddworld Inhabitants wants us to use them. And go down and face 4 interns by myself with Munch. You may remember me saying that he can't handle more than 3 enemies at once, but at this part of the game, it's really no big deal. Because of how the respawn system works, we can abuse it. You also notice how the Zap Vendo upgrade is kind of flawed in that you can't really aim. It's random who you hit. I think it's just the closest one to you. See, we died, but we respawned with no issue, and the whole level remains unchanged. The interns still have all the damage they've gotten, so we can just keep dying and going down there until all of them eventually die. It usually takes me around 3 tries. Now, I don't want the Fuzzles here to get involved, because I've never sent them down there to help me out in this fight, and one always dies. Always. It's just too many interns, and the Fuzzles don't divide themselves evenly. You could end up with 1 Fuzzle fighting 1 intern by itself, and that's just disaster. And we want to get perfect Forma, which means that we don't want any of the slaves or whatever to die. We want to save everyone. So it's better to be safe than sorry, and just use Munch as a punching bag for this part of the game. It's only really at this really beginning part where I use it this way. Other parts, if I usually have to, I cut it out or whatever if it takes too long. This was actually a close call, because it was taking a while, and I was thinking to myself, wow, it's taking a while. But eventually they all died, and I only had 1 bird left for health. I bet that if I got hit 1 more time, I probably would have died and have to go all the way back down. But I didn't, and this is pretty much the end of this level, so we got lucky. Gonna get our Fuzzles and go down to the end of the level, save the rest. And unfortunately, you may notice Munch's obnoxious popping noise. That's gonna be there the whole game. Munch is not a land creature, and Oddworld Inhabitants wanted to really exaggerate on that, just to show off how kind of pathetic he is on land. Makes up for it when he's in the water though, which you'll see soon. And may I just take this moment to say that I really like this music. Probably some of the best in the game. In this door here, and conveniently, a bird portal. I really don't understand how bird portals are here in the first place, because they look so craftily set up. Almost as if the Vikers want their Fuzzles to be stolen. Let's see, did we save everyone? Nope. See, sometimes 1 Fuzzle will not jump into the portal. Now you see, we saved all the Fuzzles in the level. We have a halo over our head. That means that we're good for Forma here, and we can move on. We can check out this little screen board here again, just in case, if you were not too sure. Retired means dead, pretty much. I don't know why they had to baby it like that. And right before the level ends, this little pool full of spruce is open to us, just to show off how much swims. It's kind of pointless, really, considering the next level. I don't even know why I got her up all this boost. Welcome to Hydroponic Baths, the sewer equivalent of Spruce Scrub Forest.
Swim for your life, Munch. Oh, and watch out for those slugs up ahead. Later.
So, now that we were able to get through Munch's terrible land portion, we can now freely swim in the water. The water controls are very nice and fluid. Literally fluid. And there are stuff like water wells for you to jump into and get out. We have to collect 99 spoofs by the end of this level, so try to ignore the fact that I'm collecting every single one in sight that I can. While in water, jump can Munch. While in the water, Munch can also jump pretty high, so if you ever need to get to a difficult to reach place, Munch is your dude, and he's the only character in the game that can swim. So that's an advantage, both for movement and for fighting. Gotta get that spruce. And I think this is funny, just showing off the shadows, showing off what the Xbox can do. It's a launch title. And now I can give a proper introduction to the slog. That little dog thing perched up there. Slogs are guard dogs, pretty much. They don't have eyes. They rely everything on smell. And they're very good at it, as you can see. Detected Munch right away. Normally, slogs are the best friend of sligs. They are just pets, and they'll follow them, and they'll do whatever they want them to. Except in this game. This game, they're quite violent to each other, especially in certain levels, and if you put a slig and a slog next to each other, in this game, the slig is pretty much screwed. The only exception to this would be the very first level where you saw a slig with a bunch of slogs behind the gate and we fought them off. I don't know what that's all about. There's a little slog tray. Pretty funny attention to detail. Now, slogs can't swim. This is just a really shallow area for them to run around in. Just clarifying that right now, because that confused me as a kid. I thought they could swim, and then all of a sudden, can't. From here on out is a really short level. I mean, really short. It ends right there behind that gate. Just gotta get that last couple of spruce, and we'll be on our way. It's such a dramatic voice. Welcome to the fluoride tanks level, where we will be able to use everything we've learned up to this point and test it. This level introduces water mines. They're just like mines, except they're in the water, and they're huge, and they have spikes. Like really big spikes. They can also juggle you, water mines, and that means that if you run into one, you can be thrown into the air and fall on another one, and then get hurt by that one. And that could really, really destroy your playthrough. It's happened to me. It's not fun. Big level, if you can't tell. You got a long way to go. Gotta collect more of that spruce. Because, again, we need to collect 99 by the very end. And, save some fuzzles on the way. One fun thing about this level is that you can really abuse how your enemies cannot swim, or pretty much do anything near the water. To explain, I'm gonna get this app window, and go to the lone intern guarding the well over there. Since we can zap him back, we can just zap him into the mines and deal a bunch of damage, making him a joke, and then he drowns. Like, this level follows the fuzzle testing level where we're gonna have a progression of more and more interns until we get to 4. But it's really not as hard since we have water everywhere. I would suggest not saving the fuzzles before fighting the interns because a very annoying thing will happen where the blast radius of the water mines is pretty wide, and it's possible for the fuzzles to get hit by that blast radius and die. Again, it's happened to me before, and it's really lame. Also, you can zap slugs from the water. There's really no reason to, but it's stupid fun. And for some reason, the zaps go really fast when you're in the water. You never have to fight when you're swimming, so maybe that's why. Puzzles. Not much to say about this level, just gotta be creative and beat up the interns as fast as possible. You can kind of see why some people would get a bad first impression of the game through Munch, because this is supposed to be this special new character, and well, he's not that good. And that intern just got totally screwed out. He got stuck in the well, and was able to get rid of him easy. But yeah, I mean, I much prefer playing as Abe. Sure, he doesn't have the same skills Munch has, but he's just so much more mobile. And Abe can't swim, but he can still, like, jump over, like, rivers and stuff just fine, so don't be surprised if you don't see me using Munch much in this game. There are no Sligs or Mudokons to worry about in this level for some reason, because Mudokons won't listen to Munch. If you burp near Mudokon, they'll laugh, because Munch has a pretty beastly burp, but otherwise they'll just pay no attention to you. It's kind of sad, really, for Munch. I should also take this time to say that Munch had a bunch of designs to him before he was made. I mean, he was gonna have like some sort of steampunk wheelchair going for him. He was gonna try to be like some sort of buff steroid creature. There was so much that was like planned for him that I can get into the posts instead of the video. And oh wow, I actually got an intern in the water before I died there. That's first. But the basic gist is Munch originally wasn't supposed to be such a I don't know how to say it, like pathetic kind of character. Is supposed to be tough and strong and big, and instead they turned out with this. They just couldn't make a good design with him. One time they had him look like some sort of Disney character, and that was just ridiculous. I'll post up what the designs look like in the thread. You see for yourself and laugh at them. When you see them, you'll know that this was actually the best choice out of everything other than having them just fought up with. This is the final group of interns that we have to take care of. Luckily, the mines worked in our favor. Taking a bit of a long time to get rid of, though. You can tell that combat here can be a bit repetitive. Luckily, it's the last time we have to do it in this video, so from here on out, it's just spooks collecting and puzzle saving. Maybe a bit extra. Got all the puzzles saved, got angels, so really not even any puzzles to worry about. I've had times where a puzzle would get behind the well, and I wouldn't end up saving all of them, and I would freak out and just go through the whole level, which is exactly what happened in my last recording of this. Luckily, it didn't end up being the final recording, and, you know, just shows how I don't like Fuzzles from a gameplay perspective. I like their character, and if I were to identify them in the Oddworld, I would call them kind of like rodents. Especially in Western Mudos, where Oddworld Stranger's Wrath takes place. This is Eastern Mudos. Fuzzles are much more violent and aggressive. The guys you see in this game are pretty much babies compared to the ones in Western Mudos. I'm actually surprised I have not hit a mine here, because it's usually a given that I do, so I think I played pretty well. And we got 100 spruce. So we can just go all on our way to the last final stretch. There's the exit right there. It's got a portal and it's surrounded by a bunch of interns. Hopefully that won't be an issue for us.
Hey, Munch, your quam is doing great, I guess. Get through these intern lab workers and get to the main lab. There, you will be able to escape Viker's labs through the poop chute.
Poop chute. Interesting name. So, gonna have to ask you, are you ready for an exciting chase scene? Something that Munch is not used to with just his one leg? I know I am. I actually made through this in one go, which shocks me, because it usually takes me twice. All you have to do is just hug the left side of the wall. Interns will run into mines, and sometimes the blast radius of the mines will make Munch trip and then he'll die, but that didn't happen. So, you go into the Gabbit pen, which is strangely empty. Go to the well, and land right into a portal. For some reason, the interns can still hit me. That's it for this update of Let's Play Oddworld Munch and Oddysee. This is Matrixer, and I'll see you later for Snoozy Lab. Very exciting. Very exciting.